How's it going, ladies and Bruce is up over Sixkilla. Welcome back to Corpse Factory. Well, shit really hit the fan in the last one, didn't it? Aoi outed herself as the leader of the human removal service, as we predicted. But Shinya caught her trying to murder Tomoe and stopped her, and now is probably going to let her go. And now Shinya wants to kill Noriko, and I don't know why yet. And it seems weird that he wants to kill people and he's got this complex about being a detective and being a cop like his dad, being a good guy, I suppose, but then his dad didn't seem like a very good guy either, so maybe that's not it. I don't know. Let's carry on.
Yes.
Please forgive me for intruding.
Shinya bows politely and removes his shoes. He places them carefully in front of the doorstep and takes a stride forward. He takes a good look around before turning to me.
You have a nice place.
Oh, please. I wish you would cut the formalities. We're here to discuss serious business. He's acting like we're new co-workers or something. I walk over to the door and make sure it's fully closed. I slide the deadbolt into place.
The door is locked.
I whisper this under my breath so Shinya can't hear me.
The door is locked.
Repeating phrases like this has become a sort of mantra. It helps me concentrate. When I'm about 90% sure the door is actually locked, I wander back to Shinya. It takes all of my willpower to refrain from turning back and checking once more. Thankfully, Shinya distracts me from my inner turmoil.
Is everything you told me true? I want to make sure I have all the facts straight.
Yes, it's true. All
You
of
think
it.
she's going to admit to lying now? Truth intermingled with lies is still the truth, right? I mean, no, but if you're already lying, why tell him that you're not lying? I lucked out when Tomoe left the two of us alone in her apartment. If I had to explain things to her, I'd have to give her inside information on the Human Removal Service's operations. Anything less could have clashed with her existing knowledge and caused her to doubt me. But, since I only had to explain things to Shinya, I'd already determined that Shinya wasn't in the loop, so I concocted a convincing lie in order to secure his cooperation. And he bought it.
Just want to get my head around it. Noriko Kurosawa is Corpse Girl. She's the one that was behind the initial string of murders across the city. She delivered photos and corpses to her victims in order to convince them that they would die soon. And that had the effect of causing people to kill themselves. Almost a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Of course, all of this part is true. Kind of. Shinya doesn't need to know that I acted behind the scenes and brought the victims low by my own hand. Those acts of violence almost seem like a distant memory now. I was so committed to aiding Noriko that I couldn't think of anything else. In the end, my assistance didn't help my own situation. I only propelled Noriko's ego into the stars and continued to suffer my cursed half-existence.
But it wasn't long before another group started killing people in much the same way as Noriko did. A group called the Human Removal Service. They've killed hundreds, if not thousands of people in the past months.
Again, all true so far.
And you were enslaved by Noriko? Forced against your will to infiltrate the Human Removal Service and bring them down from the inside?
Interesting story.
That's right.
Heh. He's a fucking idiot.
That explains why you want to kill Noriko. You want to be free from her. Even if it isn't exactly the legal thing to do.
Legal? What kind of pedestal is this guy standing on? He specifically requested assistance to do the exact same thing. He wants Noriko dead, just like I do.
But if I remember correctly, you only managed to learn one important thing about the Human Removal Service, right?
Yes.
The group is made up of dozens of members. Dozens of people that all masquerade as the leader known as the Herald. There's no single person responsible for the murders. It's the joint effort of a large group, all striking across the city simultaneously. Am I correct?
And there's the real kicker. He's absolutely spot on. I didn't mind sharing this tidbit of information with him. It does nothing to assist with his investigation. And wrapping the lie that I was Noriko's lackey in a blanket of truth makes everything all the more convincing.
Yes. That's right.
Phew, okay. I think I understand everything. Thank you for your help.
There's one thing I'm not entirely comfortable about. Shinya hasn't been forthcoming with his reasons for wanting Noriko dead. If I don't air the question, I'll feel like he'll never address it.
Can you tell me why you want to kill Noriko?
He tries to back away from the question by twiddling his thumbs and pretending to examine the nearby wall.
Shinya, I need need to know. Otherwise, how can I trust you?
Trust. It's a word that has always made me laugh. How could I trust anybody? I couldn't even trust my own parents, the people who swore to raise and protect me. My mother hit me when I misbehaved, when I overslept by 5 minutes or raised my voice ever so slightly. I was a child. How could I ever trust her not to lash out at me? My father. How could I ever have trusted him after he killed me? And Noriko. Noriko, the one friend I opened up to, the one person who knew all about my struggles. She betrayed me. She kept her perfect life out of reach, taunting me with it, dangling it in front of me like a carrot on a string. And when I asked to share her life with her, she completely misinterpreted it. She told me she loved me, told me she wanted to be with me. She wanted to shower me with gifts, hold my hand, be intimate with me. She wanted to be my girlfriend, but how could I ever be intimate with her after what I went through? She didn't understand me. She didn't understand that I wanted to be her, not be with her. She wouldn't trade lives with me, so how could I ever trust her? Why should she have to? How could I trust her when she said she loved me but wasn't willing to make a sacrifice to make me happy? Everyone is full of shit and I'll never trust anybody again. Junpei spends every day trying to prove his love to me. He assists me with my compulsive behaviour. He helps me do my shopping, helps me keep my apartment neat and tidy. Do I trust him? No. I know what he wants from me. He's no better than Noriko. He's willing to jump through hoops for me in the hope that he'll eventually conquer my flesh. Even when he tries to help out with my compulsions, I don't have full faith in him. He takes it upon himself to complete my checklist of rituals in order to spare me the stress. But more often than not, I still have to go ahead and double check everything, just to make sure he didn't fuck anything up. If I can't even trust him with that, then I know I'll never be able to trust another soul with anything. Looking at Shinya now, pacing nervously around my apartment, I decide to not put any stock into what he says next. There's no way in hell that I'll believe whatever comes out of his mouth.
Noriko is my friend, but my father, Chief Detective Fujikawa, in case you didn't know, has declared her the prime suspect of our investigation. Thing is, Father isn't the most lenient person, and he's been cracking under stress lately. If he finds Noriko, if he arrests her, there will be no trial. She'll simply get life behind bars. Guaranteed.
How do you do that? No cop has the power to do that. Do they? Am I missing something here? Shinya hangs his head and I hear a quiet sob.
Is that our country's idea of justice? She doesn't deserve anything less than death for her crimes. Letting her live safely behind bars isn't a punishment. It's an act of mercy. I want to ensure Noriko receives true justice. Fitting judgment for the lives she destroyed.
What he's saying just doesn't add up. How does he know that she won't receive the death penalty? It's true that it's not a common punishment, but it's still legal in this country, especially for cases of mass murder. Yes. Yes. Does Shinya have information that I don't?
I need to find her. I need to hand her the justice that my father is too cowardly to deliver.
Whatever. I'm already sick of this guy. He acts like he's been personally wronged by Noriko's crimes, like he's so high and mighty and knows what's best. I doubt he knew a single person that Noriko killed.
Fine. To be honest, I don't really care about your reasons. As long as you want Noriko dead, then our goals are the same.
I mean, you asked him for his reasons, so...
But I have to ask, will you turn yourself into the police after you kill her?
Once again, Shinya hangs his head.
I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't.
He leaves the sentence hanging in midair. It wasn't exactly a confirmation.
There's only one problem. I have no idea where Noriko's hiding. She doesn't live in her apartment anymore. She doesn't show up to her office. I know that she has a factory that she runs her operation from, but I can't find it.
I see. I might be able to help. Tomoe and Noriko used to spend a lot of time together. I'm not sure what they used to get up to, but I checked the travel history on Tomoe's IC card, and she made a lot of trips to Shinokubo.
Her IC card. For people travelling by train every day, buying single-use tickets is often a pain in the ass. Reusable IC cards are much more convenient. You can top them up with money and simply swipe them at the ticket gates to have your train fare automatically deducted. Best of all, they keep a record of your transaction history and the stations you've travelled to recently. The fact that Shinya even thought to look at Tomoe's travel history makes me want to reconsider my initial assessment of this guy's detective skills.
Shina Okubo, you say?
Yeah. Can't imagine what she was doing there, but all the dates she traveled to that station coincide with days she claimed to be hanging out with Noriko.
Still don't think Shinya realizes that Tomoe was in on Noriko's operation. Regardless, this is valuable information. Chances are good that Noriko and Tomoe spent a lot of time together at their factory, and that factory may very well be located in Shin Okubo. I'll feed this information to Junpei and see what he makes of it. Perhaps he knows something I don't.
Thanks for the info. That's enough for today. I'll contact you when I locate Noriko.
Oh, say, just one more thing.
What is it?
If you've been wanting to kill her, then why haven't you just called her and asked her to meet up with you?
He thinks he's so clever. He thinks he has everything all worked out. He doesn't know shit.
It's not that easy. I need to find where she's living and running her operation from. I want to destroy everything involved with Corpse Girl. I want to burn her factory to the ground.
More lies. Lies on top of lies. The truth of the matter is that Noriko knows perfectly well my intentions for her, even if she temporarily forgets it during moments of delirium. She would never agree to meet up with me, not now. Things were different not so long ago, but I missed that opportunity. Noriko worked out my position in the human removal service. She figured out that I'm the Herald, the one responsible for slicing and dicing. She doesn't know that there's more than one Herald, but that's irrelevant. And she doesn't know that I'm responsible for the mass of bodies littered across Tokyo thanks to Corpse Girl's website. However, as long as she knows I'm a threat, she'll never agree to meet with me. How she came to the conclusion that I'm the enemy is beyond me. She's a sharp person despite teetering on the edge of total breakdown. Doesn't matter. The point is I can't simply call up and meet with her. Besides, I actually do want to locate the factory just as much as I want to locate her. The factory is where I'll plant myself. It's where I'll start my life anew. It's where I'll grow and blossom into the new Corpse Girl once I've taken over Noriko's identity. Shinya is contemplating my answer. It seems good enough for him.
Fair enough. You want to see Corpse Girl completely and utterly defeated. I get that. That's your idea of justice.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. Agreeing with him will make this ordeal of a conversation end quicker.
I'm going to get some rest. So...
Okay. I understand. I'll take my leave. Call me when you locate Noriko, okay?
Can he ask you not to kill your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend at least before you leave? Because you know that's exactly where she's going. She's going straight back to Tomoe's house to rip her head off.
Yes.
Lie.
Farewell then.
He makes his way to the door, and I don't take my eyes off him until he disappears through the portal. When he's gone, I tiptoe toward the door and confirm it's fully closed. I make sure the door is snugly nestled in the wooden frame. I lock the door handle, then slide the deadbolt into place.
The door is locked.
But is it?
The door is locked.
I can't be certain. To my eyes that fail me on a daily basis, that betray my mind with illusions and phantoms, the door seems to be locked. But why should I trust my eyes? I don't trust anyone. Why should I trust parts of myself? I can't even see colours clearly. Red, green, whatever. I can't see anything without the aid of glasses. The door has to be locked. It has to be. Otherwise I won't be able to walk away. That colour blindness is definitely going to come into play later on. Mark my words. I won't be able to stop thinking about it until I come back and check again, and again, and again, and again.
The door is locked.
I turn away, take a deep breath, and then immediately turn back.
The door is locked. The door is locked.
Mine's not. I'm pretty sure the deadbolt is in place. It certainly looks in place. I'm so exhausted. I'm tired of the routines and rituals. Why can't I just walk away? If I walked away, the problem wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be stuck standing here, checking and double-checking something so trivial. If I could walk away, I wouldn't be so full of stress. So worked up about the things that ultimately don't matter. Another deep breath and I take a step back.
Door's locked.
I turn, run, dash. I sprint through the room, sprint through the hallway. I slam my body into my bedroom door, throwing it wide open. I collapse on my bed. I ignore the nagging in my brain telling me that the door is unlocked. I ignore it until it feels too real and I have to scratch my flesh to distract myself. I pull my pillow over my head and hold it tightly around my face. I'm safe here, safe in my bed. The door is locked. Locked. I still find it unbelievably hypocritical that people like her and people like Noriko are so worried about their own safety when they're out there murdering people en masse. I try to convince myself to fall asleep. Tell myself I feel better after I rest. I hope I lock the front door.
So yeah, like, I reckon I'll have some work for you soon. The other Heralds have been keeping the numbers up. There just haven't been any requests for this area lately, you know?
Yeah.
I'm only half listening to Junpei. He said something about why I haven't been tasked with killing anyone lately, but I don't really care about the reasons. Junpei's the only one in contact with the leader of the Human Removal Service. I just take orders, like all of the other Heralds. Not that I've met any of them. Every Herald has their own district, their own turf. If a request comes through our website, it gets allocated to the Herald closest to the victim. It must have been a week since I last got to kill, maybe 2 weeks. It's not that I like the killing. It's not that I want to do it. I fulfill the request simply as a way to antagonize Nautico. It's my role to play in backing her into a corner and shutting down Sixkilla. And so far, thanks to my contributions to the Human Removal Service, we've been incredibly successful. Sixkilla is all but a distant memory to the general public. If people really want to request someone's death, they come to us, not to her. I don't plan on remaining with this group for much longer. After all, Nautico is pretty much already broken. She's a wreck. Once I find her, I'll possess her and quit this group. Then I'll finally have the life I always wanted. Nautico's life. I'll resurrect Sixkilla when I feel like it. I'll use my inside knowledge on the Human Removal Service's operations to bring them down myself. After that, I'll be able to spend my days in peace, living free of fear, finally comfortable in being the girl that I want to be. I'll truly be Nautico.
Yo, babe, you in there?
Huh?
I suppose I drifted too far away. I rub my eyes, look at Junpei and flash him my sweetest fake smile.
I'm okay. Sorry, honey bear. I'm very tired.
Oh, don't sweat it. You want me to grab you a cup of coffee?
That would be lovely. You always know how to make me feel better.
Of course. I'm on it, babe. You wait right there.
Junpei stomps away and heads behind the bar, leaving me alone in this empty section of the cafe. I take a seat on one of the cardboard boxes lining the wall. The box is solid, thanks to being packed full of various canned drinks. The maid cafe belongs to us in the early hours of the morning. The place doesn't open until noon, so there's no one here this early. I have my own keys these days, regardless of whether or not I'm supposed to. Junpei suggests we use the place as a makeshift base of operations, after I decided I was gonna continue working here. That was some time ago now. Originally, I truly had planned to quit. I was gonna work with Nautico. My manager at the time used to drive me insane. I couldn't wait to get away, but after I killed him, things here weren't so bad. The new manager is great. He doesn't pressure me to work shifts that I don't want to. He doesn't let customers take advantage of the staff. Neither the new manager nor the other staff members care that Junpei and I meet up down here. It's not like we leave any incriminating evidence behind either. It's simply an easy place for us to meet up and talk, since Junpei lives so far away from me. The added benefit is that we have access to cheap drinks and food thanks to my employee discount, so hanging out here is actually quite pleasant. I wait for a while longer for Junpei to return. I really could use a coffee right now. His return is heralded by the thump of her heavy feet against the tiled floor.
I got you, fam.
Junpei sidles up to me and hands me my favourite drink, a tall iced coffee with an extra espresso shot and a dollop of ice cream.
Oh, you're the best, baby.
Yeah, I know it.
He giggles in his insanely irritating high-pitched way and begins to chug down his own latte.
So I wanted to ask you a favor.
Anything for you, honeybee.
A tuft of milky foam sits on his top lip and I have to hold myself back from stabbing him in the face.
Noriko apparently spent a lot of time in Shin Okubo with her accomplice Tomoe.
My god.
Shin Okubo, huh? Good old K-Town. What'd they go there for? Karaoke?
Doubt it. Noriko sounds like a drowning cat when she sings.
Then what?
Well, I'd like to think that's where the factory is located.
Oh, gotcha. Ooh, you could be onto something. A trip from Kojiro's morgue to Shin Okubo wouldn't take that long. Since they used to move a lot of bodies around, it's definitely a viable location.
I agree.
Right on. I'll look into it. I'll track down factories in that area and get my troops to investigate each one.
I'm careful not to let him see me roll my eyes. By his troops, he means the guys he plays online games with. A bunch of teenagers that all look up to him because he's a top-ranked player. They're not involved with the Human Removal Service, they're just pawns that Junpei uses to complete legwork around town. Sadly, they're happy to serve him because they'll see him as their sensei.
Cool. Let me know what you find out. I'm itching to get this all over with. My love.
It's increasingly difficult to act pleasant around Junpei. My mouth tries to clamp itself shut every time I use a pet name or affectionate term. I know that my time to discard him is near. Once I become Nautico, then...
You can count on me, Sweetums. Now drink up and get your energy back.
I take a sip of my iced coffee and I can nearly taste it. Because my tongue is dead, the fruit and drinks I consume need to be extra strong or sweet for me to have a chance of enjoying the flavour. But Junpei doesn't know this. He thinks I have a sweet tooth. He can think whatever he wants, because I don't care. Sure. She keeps saying she's dead, but she looks very much alive. A message from Junpei arrives while I'm lying in the fetal position on my couch. Junpei free Wi-Fi? Hey cutie. The guys checked out a bunch of factories yesterday. Got the location. Hit me up. I have to read the message twice to be sure my eyes aren't deceiving me like usual. Does he truly have the location I've been looking for? I take a calming breath. I don't want to jump to conclusions, especially with something involving Junpei. He has a tendency to exaggerate. It may just be trying to get me excited about some useless information. I send him a short reply requesting the info. I instantly receive a thumbs up emote, then the text box changes to an animated as Junpei composes his follow-up message. I don't know how to say that. ... The wait is agonizing. If Junpei pulls through for me here, I might finally learn Nautico's location. If it all pans out, then everything could be over by tonight. It's hard not to get excited about the prospect. It's hard not to get ahead of myself. I can leave my death behind and never look back. I can become Nautico and live the happy life that she's been keeping to herself all these years. The message finally arrives on my screen. It's an address, not that I expected anything less. A street name and a factory number in the Shin Okubo area. One more message from Junpei comes through. My guys saw a chick matching Nautico's description inside that factory. They thought she was a zombie. Go check it. This is it. As long as the information is solid, I've located Nautico's factory. My entire body begins to shake. An icy chill washes over me as though I've just walked into a cold shower. It's a strange sensation for a dead girl to feel. Pain doesn't affect me, and yet, the cold is something I can never banish from my bones. No time to focus on that. I have to stay calm. I need to concentrate and pull myself together. I launch myself up from the couch and collect the backpack hanging over the coat rack. I unzip it, run my hands through its contents, and convince myself that everything I need is within. After swinging the bag over my shoulder, I throw open the apartment door and venture outside. We doing it now, are we? The factory is a rundown mess. How anyone can live here is beyond me. I suppose I'll just have to find a way to make it feel like home. Well, it's Nautico's perfect life, so it's so perfect. Maybe once I'm inside Nautico's skin, I'll be able to understand why she's comfortable here. Yeah, the more I look at it, the better it seems. This will be my home. I'll be Nautico and live here happily ever after. I'll sit back and enjoy the life that she's been withholding from me. Firstly, I need to find somewhere to change my clothes. I can't kill someone if I'm wearing my nice dress. It's just not acceptable. I did consider changing at home, but then I would have scored funny looks from people on the train ride over here. Is it strange that a dead girl fears entering a socially awkward situation? I always go out of my way to avoid uncomfortable situations. Perhaps it's just a remnant of the life I once knew, something that I can't quite leave behind. It's the same as my obsessive compulsions. They cling to me like carrion flies swarming over my corpse. I shouldn't be worried about any of those things, but dead or not, my mind just can't discard the anxieties that shape my entire life. Wait, what am I doing? Why am I trapping myself in pointless thoughts? My goal is right in front of me. Nautico's on the other side of that brick wall, completely unaware of what is about to happen. A heavy-handed slap to my face doesn't sting, but it causes me to reevaluate what I'm doing. Focus. First, I'll change into the gear provided to me by the human removal service. Then I'll shimmy into the factory through an open window. I'll locate Nautico and drive a knife into her chest. I'll pluck her still-beating heart from her body like a ripe strawberry, and then I'll carve my name into the pulsating, blood-spurting organ. Nautico's life will be over and I'll be reborn. I'll baptize myself in her lifeblood and become the girl I've always wanted to be. And I'll be happy. Happy just like Nautico. Oh yeah, she's ecstatic. That smiling, carefree girl that I spent my youth with. The girl that faced her mother's attempted suicide with a stoic smile. The girl that didn't flinch when her father walked out. The girl that stayed inside day after day when the outside world just became too scary to face. The happy, carefree girl without a single real problem. She never knew how good her life was. She wouldn't have lasted a day in my shoes. I hate her so much. I'm going to become her. My backpack hits the ground with a dull impact. I tear my yellow sundress from my shoulders and let it fall to the ground, just like a snake sheds its skin. The cool afternoon breeze bites on my naked skin and makes the tiny hairs across my body stand on end. Why can the dead feel the cold? The dead shouldn't feel anything. I crouch and rummage through my backpack, withdrawing my change of clothes. Slowly, calmly, deliberately, I dress myself in the dark gear that makes me as a herald, that marks me as a herald, one of many. I note the comforting weight of 4 knives concealed within my jacket, 1 in each sleeve and 2 against my chest. It's important to be armed to the teeth. After donning every article, I pull a broad mask out of the bag. A mask in the likeness of Corpse Girl, my enemy and my future identity. I slide the mask over my face and a curtain of calmness descends over me. This is the last time I march forward in the name of the Human Removal Service. This is for my own personal agenda. The scheming of that rebellious group of killers no longer guides my hand. The time has come. I approach the factory's front entrance and try the door, simply out of curiosity. I don't expect Nautico to have lowered her guard so much, and yet the door swings open. She left it unlocked? A mistake I never would have made thanks to my overbearing compulsions. This place reeks of death. If I wasn't so accustomed to the smell, I'd probably vomit. The dead girls vomit? The dull, steady hum of an air conditioner registers in my consciousness, but doesn't distract me from examining the surroundings. Countless empty body bags are strewn across the pockmarked concrete floor. Some are stained with brown blood and some are completely clean. A series of shelves, almost like warehouse racks, run along the walls and across the floor in a haphazard patterns. Whoever planned this layout was out of their mind. However, this is home now. My home. Soon. Striding forward, I weave between shelves and step over discarded body bags. So far, there's been no indication of Nautico's presence. Still, I draw a knife from inside my sleeve so that it rests in the palm of my hand. The metal handle is cold. Cold? Why do I feel cold? The entire factory's like a freezer. How could Nautico live here?
Hey.
My torso twists in reaction to the monotone syllable. The quick movement sends a shooting pain across my chest. Pain? Pain?
It's you. Hello, Herald. It took me a while, but I figured out what your mask is supposed to be. It's like an artistic representation of Corpse Girl, right? The Corpse Girl mascot that appears on my website.
Nautico flashes her phone at me and I glare at the website displayed.
That's totally copyright infringement.
Are you gonna sue her? I don't know what to say to her. This isn't exactly how I imagined this encounter would play out.
Why'd you fake Junpei Matsumoto's death? You know what I'm talking about, right? That time we met in the underground parking lot. You planted a look-alike corpse to fool us into thinking Junpei had died. Total Corpse Girl move, by the way. Guess you stole that strategy from me, too. I sense a lawsuit.
She steps forward with a hand outstretched. I instinctively lash out with my knife and slash her wrist. But her hand comes to rest on my shoulder, the tiny nick from my inaccurate blade, not even prompting a spurt of blood.
Ouch! That stung a little.
The warmth of her hand seeps into my shoulder. It's almost comforting.
Aoi, I miss you. I really miss you. Can you take off the mask? Can we just talk?
I don't take off the mask. I don't know why I'm standing here listening to her. I don't know why her presence and her reassuring hand has caused me to lower my guard. She smiles. This is the happy, carefree Nautico I grew up with.
You're so beautiful, Aoi. I'm really sad we can't be together. How are things with your boyfriend?
That single useless word crawls out of my rotting mouth like a diseased maggot. It's all I can bring myself to say.
You can't tell me? That's okay. You used to be so open with me. And then, you died. We tried to keep our friendship going after that, but we've never really been the same since then, have we? I hope you get the help you need, Aoi. I hope one day we can put all of this behind us.
My fingers loosen, the grip on my knife weakening. It falls to the concrete ground. I don't need it anymore. I tense my arms and squeeze my hands together, desperately trying to crush Nautico's throat beneath my fingers. Her skin is warm and flushes red as my grip tightens. She kicks against me, but the pain doesn't register. She's weak and frail. Her strangled cry is drowned out by my own grunts of exertion. Anemic fingers swipe at my arms constantly, only serving to irritate me. I could hold her neck in one hand and use my other to plunge a knife into her face. I could continue to strangle her until I crush her windpipe. Or I could just slash her stomach open and let her intestines spill out onto the ground. All of the options are appealing. All of the options can be put into motion within seconds. I take my right hand off her neck and slip it into my jacket, ready to pull out a knife. My left hand closes tighter on her neck. And Noriko closes the distance between us, causing my elbow to bend and allow her closer. Her forehead slams into my own and my neck recoils backwards. I'm falling to the ground, only able to blink once as I try to work out what just happened. She somehow summoned the strength to headbutt me. Frail, weak, ghostly Noriko. She actually stood up for herself. She actually struck the person she loves. I'm dazed but ultimately uninjured. I didn't even feel the impact of my skull against the concrete when I landed flat on my back. Noriko towers over me and rubs her neck, her ragged breathing even louder than the thrumming air conditioner.
Sorry, Owie. I had to defend myself. Please, get up. Let's talk about things.
I get up. I slip the knife into her side and feel it slide neatly between two of her ribs. Her taut, thin skin does nothing to resist impalement. Noriko looks down at the wound and mumbles in surprise. I drive the knife in deeper, and with a flick of my wrist, I pull it sideways, slashing her belly open wide. An arcing stream of blood sprays from the savage wound and forms a macabre rainbow before me. Noriko coughs and gags as she frantically tries to stem the tide of blood with her hands.
Damn it! Corpse girl will
She falls to her knees.
get at you.
Her empty threat falls with her, and her face slams into the concrete. Noriko Kurosawa is dead. Using the very same knife that slashed her open, I cut along the seams of my jacket and skirt. I strip myself down with the blade until I'm standing cold and naked in the factory. It doesn't take long to strip Noriko down as well, but I'm extra careful with her clothes and don't use the knife this time. I simply pull her dress up and over until it slides free from her motionless body. I hold the dress up against me, letting it press against my own form. I look down and admire the sight of myself, imagining what I'll look like when I wear it. I can finally become Noriko. I could wear her clothes, live in her factory, talk to her friends, work at her office. I could do all the things that she loved to do, all the things that made her happy. I slip the dress over my head and force my arms through the sleeves. It's a little long, but overall, it fits me nicely. I'm Noriko Kurosawa. Sure, yeah. Okay, well, that seems like the perfect time to wrap it up. Jesus Christ, everybody in this fucking visual novel is completely fucked in the head. It's quite astonishing how they keep escalating the fucked in the headness, you know? Anyway, I mean, not that I give a shit that she killed Noriko. I don't understand how you could ever identify with Noriko, you know what I mean? She's a monster, but Aoi is easily as much of a monster. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.